And we're live, folks. Back again. This is your host of Lit Literature, JP, aka The Demon, and you are here finally with the the entire crew.
The original crew, baby.
Holy cow. What do you know?
All right.
It took a little bit of fishing, quite a bit of hunting.
We have some big fish and small fish. We won't tell who is who.
Yeah, but we finally got them both. The Captain and Eam the Dream.
Hey!
Back in action to discuss Rhythm of War, which you see right in front of our computer. And we are super pumped because we actually just got done filming our Dawn Chart episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, listen, you're here with the crew. We've got a few things to say. So let's just quickly talk about who's here. And you guys could do your own great introductions.
We got Josh the Cherry.
We got Brett, the director.
Ben the Hitman.
One of you guys.
We got the Captain coming to you live from, I seem to be in some sort of flashback. I'm at Gavilar's feast right now, and all of the Parshmen are leaving, and there's a lot of uncommon visitors coming into the room. I'm kind of getting nervous, but I think I'm going to be okay. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. It's the Captain.
Ooh, a flashback.
And you got Manny Eam the Dream.
We need to have the captain go last from now on because he always makes the rest of us look inferior.
Yeah, we just feel so bad.
So,
From someone's basement.
somebody's in an Oathbringer flashback, which is pretty cool. Well, actually, it's a flashback of pre the Way of Kings, but it's cool because we saw that in Oathbringer. And then obviously, Eam the Dream. He's been so busy lately. He's never been able to come. Yet everybody online keeps saying, "Where's my boy Manny?"
I'm pretty sure it's
Where's
the
my
same guy
boy,
over and
Manny?
over.
Pretty sure it happened maybe once.
And by the way, the one
You're
reason
giving me
that he
contradicting
does-
messages, okay? Manny, we want you here. Manny, I have to mute you.
Well, the one reason that he really wanted Manny to show up is because there hasn't been enough Brett bets lately. That's about to change
Yes.
because now we're going part by part, and so we are all
Back
required.
to the read-alongs.
We are all required to be making a Brett bet
I got a
every
good one.
episode. So, anyway, we have before we get right into Rhythm of War, we have just an announcement. And so number one is obviously Brandon Sanderson had a Kickstarter going on. We clearly participated in the Kickstarter, at least different factions.
Few of us
the
did,
group,
yeah.
Right, and we have a Bridge 4 poster, thanks to the Hitman, that we want to do a giveaway with. And should we show it? I'll try to show it in front of my face.
Okay, that's amazing.
That's so
Oh,
dope.
Oh,
shit.
baby. Bridge 4.
yeah.
I want to win that.
So, you're going to be competing against the Captain and Eam the Dream. But anyone who...
Because we've been trying to get them to follow our Instagram for years.
By the way, absolutely love
fired.
The Bridge 4 tattoos /
Oh, yeah.
slave brands on the
The
head.
Sash brand right there. It's so
And
cool.
I gotta say, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a giveaway on this, and what we will do is we've got our Instagram account. Sorry, Hitman.
I'll take
this out. Our Instagram account is Lit Literature 1, and you can find us on Instagram, obviously. And the request is go onto Instagram, find this post when we release it, which will
Sometime in
be-
the next couple weeks.
Yeah, in the next week or so, we're gonna post this. Like it, comment too.
Yeah.
Like and comment.
Follow.
Like and comment, and once and follow, of course. We actually are small, so we desperately need your follows. Clearly,
Yeah.
We don't want to sound desperate, though.
Yeah.
No, we are desperate.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just
Some of us
joking.
are.
I'm just joking. I'm always desperate. Anyway, but what we need you to do is like, follow, and just leave a comment, like something that you think about the book.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but the book up to part 1, which we're discussing today, or anything else that you've seen from literature in the past is all fine. Comment, and then comment in the raffle whether you want it signed or not.
Jeff's really stuck on the signed thing. So yeah, just leave a comment if you do want it signed. That's fine.
If you want
But
it
yeah.
signed by Drunk Jeff, let us
So
know.
we'll
No.
we'll pick
I
a
think,
winner.
I think Eam the Dream. Everybody's gonna want us to get Eam the Dream to sign this. Son of a bitch.
So we'll
That's
pick a
my
winner
opinion.
from from the pool of people that follow, like, and comment on that post that we post about the giveaway. We'll pick a winner. We'll announce it obviously on Instagram as well. And unfortunately, it's probably going to have to stay to North America. We're too small to really ship internationally. It'll
Shit, I
probably
forgot
cost
about that.
too expensive for us. So North America only. But you're still welcome to come follow and comment on the post. But if you live outside North America, we probably won't be able to pick you because
Maybe next year.
because we're poor.
Maybe next year when we have
Yeah. But help us grow and we'll be able to ship everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
especially the merch that I want. Coming
and with that
soon.
being said, should we get started?
Let's do it.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. And we're back.
Boom.
The director just made me take away 2 intros that I was trying to give you guys, both because of copyright issues. Like, who cares about that? Come on.
The director does. Because I would prefer if our stuff wasn't taken
Yeah.
down from the internet.
Yeah. So we are, in fact, here, finally. And we were just discussing Dawn Chart. Some of us were. And the rest of us have joined now to talk Rhythm of War Part 1. Now, I don't know if you guys were audiobooking this or reading it, but I have to tell you this. I got both. I actually got 3 versions. I got the audiobook, I got the Kindle, and I got the hardcover. The artwork
We
is
just finished telling them how poor we are, Jeff.
absolutely
Stop flexing.
gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Just like, actually, I got it in
good.
5 different kinds. I got one signed.
Absolutely gorgeous artwork. As a matter of fact, not only do we get more heralds, we get 4 more heralds in the artwork of the book.
Spoilers.
Yeah, careful of spoilers. But we also get arts. We get art of Spren. We see all of the not the high Spren, the capable, intelligent Spren that can form nail bonds. Nail bonds? Nile bonds?
Nile bonds.
Anyway, they could form bonds. Okay. So, anyway, we're here talking Rhythm of War. I just want to hear part 1. By the way, this is just part 1. If you're commenting or participating, this is a read along. So the entire idea here is we're reading along with you. If you've read further than part 1, please keep your comments
To yourself.
Or just a part 1.
Yeah, or just a part 1.
just part 1.
I guess that's better.
Yeah, we don't need spoilers here, especially for us because we're reading part 2 after tonight. So, so let's go ahead. Right, I just want round table real quick. Part 1, what was your immediate impression?
I hated it.
Me too.
No, I loved it. I mean, already, I'm just like, I can't. As much as I'm looking forward to discussing it, I'm looking more forward to being done so I can start reading part 2. Because I'm really excited to see what happens. I really liked it. Sanderson always is my favorite, so there's really not much else to say for me. I loved all of it.
Okay. How about Hitman?
Yeah, I really liked it, but I thought this book started out a little bit slow,
Oh,
and
really?
it's fine. I like the world building and like all the development, but it seems a bit slower than Oathbringer.
Yeah, I think they're taking their time trying to set up a lot of stuff, which is always exciting because that means hopefully there's going to be a lot of things that are going to happen in this book. But they do take, from the most part, with I think exclusion of one good section, they take a step back and try and talk a lot about the inner thought processes of people and starting to look into psyche and kind of revisiting some of the characters and their inner turmoils.
So to expand on that really quick, sorry, just because
Never mind. Hang on.
because they might go a
already.
different direction, and since they both kind of have the same thing, I think one reason that I obviously still like really like it is because one, I love the inner kind of psyche of people. I find it really, really interesting. And then also too, like I kind of got into these discussions with some people during like certain seasons of Game of Thrones, where it's like once I'm invested in a world, like having it slow down a bit and explore like the intricacies of it for me is like really, really awesome. Like I don't need as much action once I'm invested. Like obviously that's important to get you kind of like hooked, but once I'm in the story, it's like I kind of like sometimes taking a step back, learning more about this person, learning more about their history, learning more about how they think and stuff like that. So I think that's why I still kind of it didn't feel slow to me personally at all, I guess.
How
All right,
about
right
you
on.
guys?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. Right away from the get-go, we get kind of a mere duplicate scene of something that happened in the first book, which was something I mentioned, Gavilar's Feast. And we got it from Navani's perspective this time. And that was really unique. It really completed a lot of what was really going on in that scenario. And I definitely really appreciated the extra character growth that we got from both Navani and Gavilar, even though he's already dead.
Yeah.
Like you got to see a really kind of a scary side of him
Yeah.
that what really wasn't presented in the first book. And I could see why some people might think it's a little bit slow, because the book does seem to focus a little bit more on some of the side characters like Navani and the what's the singer girl's name?
Venley?
Who's faking?
Venley.
Yeah, Venley. It
The Will
focuses on her
Shaper,
a
by
lot.
the way.
So yeah, so you know, some people might be a little perturbed by that, but you know, I think it's fine. I don't you know, I don't hate a slow burn story. So I liked it. I think it's a good strong start to the book.
Yeah. Eam the Dream?
I like how everyone's attacking Ben.
I hated it. I know. I like the guy.
I don't really mind it that
know.
it's starting slow. I think it's great that it's intellectual. I mean, if you hate it, then you're just, I mean, you're just dumb, but that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I
think-
don't respect your opinion if you feel that way.
No, I totally understood what Ben said, and when he was talking, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, there was a lot of really internal development for the characters in this one, and I think this book did in this first part is really kind of bring you back to kind of making the characters seem more human, more realistic. So you're seeing them as more flawed than before, where you're kind of like used to getting a story in which you idealize some of these characters and you just think like, oh wow, they're just great. But this book did a really great job of kind of making each character seem like such a personable person that comes with all of these flaws. And I agree. I think Andrew made a really great point with Gavilar. You kind of get this idealized like image of who he is based on the perspective from the other people that have a lot of admiration and respect for him.
Who's the good
And to actually see Navani's perspective on how that was going was just mind blowing. I was like
Oh my.
perplexed
so
for a while
crazy.
there. I was like, holy crap, like who is this individual? And then it just opened up so much more. Like there was so much more going on already in the beginning of the book that you thought there was already so much going on, but then your mind is like blown because it was like you don't even know anything. I don't know. It was awesome.
I usually don't take the lead, but I wouldn't mind taking a few minutes to discuss that exact aspect of it.
Well, hang on
The
one
whole
second.
Gavilar,
That's absolutely
Navani.
where we got to start.
Okay, cool.
But I didn't give my thoughts yet.
Oh, sorry.
And I want to do it because I enjoyed listening to all of your thoughts. So I when I started this, I was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. This is slow. This is a deep burn. Yet the more that I got into it, the more that I felt and fell more deeply in love with the way that this book started. And I'll tell you why. It has to do with the fact that I actually had the opportunity to read the previous books. And I realized that our main characters had their apex in Words of Radiance. And since then, they have been doing nothing but like crumbling downward in downward spirals in different ways, yet still achieving phenomenal goals, phenomenal things. And I realized, like, holy cow, it was just that we were talking in Oathbringer about how Shallan was really popping. like next level asylum of popping. She's got 3 personalities wide. Kaladin is freezing and he's essentially becoming broken in front of us.
Yeah.
And yet functioning. And like Eam the Dream said, like, you know, it's the human side of our heroes. This book is not going to be easy for us. And apparently, you know, I don't know. I can no longer say that I can believe that all our heroes are going to come out of this whole. I mean, they're already not whole.
Yeah.
But like you hope in traditional fantasy, you know, your characters come through these spots. They tend to come out kind of whole for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say all fantasy, but for a lot of fantasy, I'm worried about our characters. I think even in a best case scenario at this point, you know, what Shallan's dealing with, what Kaladin's dealing with, especially Kaladin, it's becoming more and more. It's highly deep. I mean, in the end of Oathbringer, he failed to say
The words,
you know, the words, the fourth
Ideals.
the fourth ideals. He couldn't do it, and he needed to get saved, and he froze again. And the depth of his depression, and the depth of that moment when he meets Moash, which we'll
Moash.
talk about later. I felt this like brokenness from
Yeah.
him that was so real. So I thought about that beginning, and the more I got into part 1, the more I fell in love with how it started. Even though in the beginning my initial reaction was kind of like, oh, it's kind of like, you know, this AV. I almost felt like it was a World War II fighter pilot film. If that makes any sense.
No.
I mean, they are windrunners. 'Cause they're flying around.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're flying and they're like, you know, they got their
I was
enemies.
searching for something much deeper.
Come on, we are the Windrunners
But I get
are
it,
the
yeah.
fighter pilots
They
of World
are, yeah.
War II
Yeah.
in this this version of it, and they are fighting you know, the very famous you know, German dogfighters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the word I was searching for,
feeling
dogfighters,
I
yeah.
get from this, and so the more that I thought about it, and the more that my mind made these connections, and the deeper I got into part 1, the more I actually loved the beginning of part 1.
Yeah.
Not only Navani's revelation. First of all, Navani as a side character is done. Captain, I think you mentioned this before. We think Navani was maybe going to be a side character. She could be the main character of this book so far.
She's had a
She's
lot
got a lot
Yeah.
of screen time.
So
Yeah,
much
sure.
so that because
Right.
of the pattern of past books, there were times where we were actually in Navani's point of view and learning about Navani that I assumed it was Yasna. And then I had to like pull back and be like, that's not Yasna, that's Navani. Because I'm
Right.
so used to having like this the main kind of like smarts, strong female character be Yasna.
Yeah.
You know? So like to be like really in Navani's head was I had to like consciously bring myself back that we're not in the first 3 books anymore sometimes.
And so my thought
Right.
is the book was strangely slow yet beautiful
I agree.
the longer I got into part 1. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but
Complete.
No,
I
think it
agree
does.
completely.
I think
yeah.
it does.
so but
To go with that though, I think Brett, what you said about Navani and Yasna, like I was a little disappointed that we didn't get any of her. Like I'm not
Of
gonna
Yasna?
lie.
Well, it's because she's your favorite.
we're getting
Yeah,
there,
because she's
bro.
my favorite, but not even just because of that. I think that there's so much more to learn about her
Yes.
and her spren that I was just that was I think a little bit disappointing, and then not getting enough Renarin. I think those were my
Dude.
only 2 drawbacks on it.
I think we're getting set up for them.
I think so. Manny, here's something that I caught in the beginning is out of anything when we were in and I know we're going to talk about it more deeply later, but when we were in the council of the void, I know we don't call them void bringers anymore.
The singers?
The singers.
The singers and the nine. Anyway, they said that Yasna Kolin is by far and wide the most powerful and most attuned radiant out of all of them. So it's very clear that Yasna has reached levels that she may not have gotten to the fourth ideal yet, but she's so proficient with her abilities that she's the most feared.
Right.
They said that over Kaladin, over anyone else.
Over Dalinar.
Over Dalinar.
And the stuff that we find
She
out
also
Dalinar
has
can
way
do-
more of a reputation
Yes.
as well. Even from like her earlier days, she's just more widely known. She was already a celebrity when it
Yes.
started. So
I feel like
she's only going to get even more
I feel like
popular.
just as much as her though, Dalinar had a much scarier reputation
Ability or-
and
Oh,
should be more feared by somebody wanting to engage in war with somebody.
Yet
you know?
Yasna
Yet
is
Yasna
the
is
one.
who they're scared
Well,
of.
they were scared of both. They said that the
Yeah.
bondsmiths and the L scholar had
Yeah.
to be removed.
That's true. Yeah.
So it was both. I
They-
think
they are
know.
scared of both.
But yeah, they didn't mention Kaladin. But I do want to. I don't know if we want to jump right into this, but Manny bringing up Renarin, I had
But that's the other setup.
something that I caught quite that I want to talk about that I hinted at in our previous book. So our previous conversation, if anyone's read Dawn Shard, there's a little bit of a hint that they give out about when someone reaches a new ordeal or what is it called when they reach a new level? They say the words. The one scene we get with Renarin, I think we get something really big that's super hidden in there. So remember when Kaladin runs into the building and there he goes down to the very bottom and Moash is there and Kaladin's like burning. He loses all of his or the rest of his Stormlight. And he's like feeling the weight and the fatigue. Well, there's a
big
scene
light.
where there's a giant burst of light. And
Where
from-
Jesus comes.
from the previous book, we kind of get a bit of an insight, or the novella in Dawn Shard, we get an insight that when someone reaches a new ordeal or new level, they release a burst of Stormlight. So when they
Which we know
change-
from Kaladin, actually, from Words of Radiance, even.
yeah,
He
so
literally
Josh, I think
released-
you mean to say ideal.
ideal, not ordeal. Ideal. Thank you. But when someone
Jeff's just happy it's finally someone else.
You know.
so they reach a new ideal, they release Stormlight. But because that doesn't happen normally. They can't just give Stormlight to other people. But Kaladin all of a sudden down
Breathes it
in
in.
the thing breathes in Stormlight and gets a renewed amount of Stormlight. So I think at that exact moment was when Renarin reached a new
Another level.
ideal.
What
Like,
if
he
Renarin
stepped
is
up.
the first one to the
Or
fourth
yeah, I was gonna say
ideal?
I thought he maybe reached the third, but he already has the sword. So the third is when you can use the sword.
Third
right?
is when you can use
So
the
he was
sword.
already the third.
That was his fourth.
So
He's
if
the
that
fourth
is-
ideal.
He could be.
He could be the very first person to reach a new
Sanderson, you devil.
because it was super small, but it was like, where did that Stormlight come from that Kaladin all of a sudden
He did-
breathed
he
in?
did, he breathed
and
it
it was
in.
like
Right.
a giant burst
Yeah.
of light, which is exactly what
So then,
happened.
question: what do you think the fourth ideal is then? What happened in
Well,
that moment?
we don't know anything about truth. Well, first of all, he's not only a truth seeker or truth caller, truth seeker, I think.
I think Truth Seeker.
Well,
But
he's bonded.
He's
in Odin's
also
friend, right?
a messed up truth seeker.
Yeah.
So we don't know how the and that's
What that
actually why I
interaction
think Renarin's being set up for a bigger role in this book is because Navani keeps going back and back
Can we trust
over
him?
and over again. I don't know if we can trust this. And then we're getting like these the spren, the messed up spren that are like caught and manipulated. We're starting to learn a little bit about how they're using spren, how we're using spren, how everyone's using spren to do all of this technology.
Well, we're not
essentially-
using it.
I'm using it, bro.
I'm pretty sure we are.
I don't know what you think I do with this horn eater shit that I drink every day. I burn that shit away.
Stormlight.
Speaking of that, we're gonna have to get into Shallan, but let's go character by character. I think that maybe the best way to tackle this a little bit is to talk a little bit about each character because it's just so deep. And I
Yeah.
mean, we started with Navani and Renarin, so let's talk about Navani and Renarin.
Well,
Sure.
before we get started, Josh, do you want to make a Brett bet?
Did you want to make a Brett bet?
Can we do,
Do
the?
you
I
want to
think-
make a Brett
Oh, who's afraid of copyright infringement?
That's satire. That's under free use.
That is true. Do we want? I think we could do a Brett bet. Is did he reach the fourth ideal right there? But
That's a good
I
one.
feel that that's pretty positive.
Yeah.
I should have.
Josh, I didn't even notice that. I really
Yeah,
didn't
you should have
notice
said the
that.
Brett bet first, and then be like, idiots.
Let me explain it to
Now
you.
that you all disagree with me, let me say my real
Who's the
theory.
first person to reach the fourth ideal?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, let's do that. We'll do that as a Brett bet.
First person to reach
Did-
fourth ideal.
Was Renarin? Well, let's not say the first person. I want to say, did Renarin reach the fourth ideal?
Okay.
Did he do the third idea
Then.
then? Oh, whatever.
Because he
He already
did-
has the sword, so yeah. it would
He's
be
already got the
four.
sword, so he should already have the third level because he can summon it.
Well, we got to remember we don't
but
know about
Shallan
like,
can-
well, but
she's
now
not-
we're finding out that she had a history with pattern that she doesn't even remember.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he only had to say one ideal. Oh,
She only had to say one ideal, but she had to have a history where every ideal that she made further
Stop.
was a truth. It was a truth.
Stop giving us more information. Let's just make the Brett bet.
yeah. Let's say we should make the bet that
Was-
did he-
Manny's
did
like,
he
I'm pretty
do
sure I have a
ideal?
really good grasp on this, so shut up.
No, it's not that. It's just you're gonna be convincing other
Was
people.
it Manny's fans want Manny back in this for the Brett bets, mainly for the end of this book when we do our combination episode and
'Cause
have
he's
to
gonna
do all
drink
those
a lot.
shots.
Because I'm gonna take like 50 shots. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it.
I haven't been doing. that
Actually,
great
Manny
lately.
should answer this one first, so I can just do the
Okay,
opposite. I
Manny.
just want to be.
Manny, what do you
I
think?
want to make sure we.
I am gonna say that I don't think Renarin has reached the fourth ideal.
Oh my God, Renarin's reached the fourth ideal, guys.
Wow, I love you guys.
I
I'm
do
so
think-
glad I did this again.
I'm starting to realize why you moved to a different state, Manny.
So Josh is a yes.
Josh is a yes.
Manny's a no.
All right. I'm gonna actually. I really do like Josh's theory, but I'm gonna also say no for Renarin, just because I think that maybe there is something else going on with that flash of light.
Secret ability.
Being it could be just about anything. It might not necessarily be an oath.
It's a good point.
I mean, he
spoken
could
or
have just
realized.
brought in
But
Stormlight.
it's still a good theory.
Kaladin just said
I'll
in
I'll
at
give
that
you
point.
props for that, John.
I almost
But
thought
I'll
they tried
say
to
no.
describe it as a pouch that he had brought in, but maybe I'm wrong.
But just say your bet. Explain it later.
Oh,
Once he
okay.
can't change his answer.
No, your bet. Your bet.
Well, now that I've been given that little tidbit, I'm gonna say no.
Wait, Brett, but you just said yes.
But I got additional information that I had forgotten about. Potentially.
I'm also gonna say no.
Okay,
Wow.
I'm feeling real confident.
saying
now.
yes.
Ben's
Damn.
pretty good at this.
Amazing.
The whole reason I changed my answer.
I mean, I honestly, I wasn't thinking what Josh gave in that
Yeah.
instance, but to be honest,
Oh, I'm on Manny's side.
when I come back to this,
Oh,
I can't.
dude,
I
Josh, look at
honestly
your
think
answer.
Sanderson's toying with us, and he's hiding it. I think he's hiding it.
You said
I,
yes,
I
right?
do think, and the thing I think where we're gonna find out that we're wrong possibly is it's like, oh, they don't because it's a thing spread. He didn't reach the fourth. He reached this,
But it
or
was
it's gonna be
just
something
so,
similar.
It was
yeah.
just this statement. This
I
line.
almost
They're at
want
this
to give it to you.
the
if that's
giant
the case.
enemy
Yeah.
meeting. Darth Vader and everyone's there, and they're like, none of them have reached the fourth ideal yet.
Yeah.
yeah.
Blatant statement. And then you said that, and I'm like,
Yeah, someone has.
somebody has.
Yeah.
It's probably Yasna.
It could be.
I'm
But
going
then,
back
like,
to yes.
also you have to think about with Renarin.
I'm going back to yes because it's really.
We don't know
unbalanced.
much about what his friend can do.
I'm changing
Yeah,
mine to no.
But it's really unbalanced. Then.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
3-3.
I'm just joking. I was just doing that to
3 and
mess
3
with
is
him.
always good.
All right. So
I mean, I
that-
really liked the idea of being on Ben's side, but I really disliked being on the side of Manny. I'm just kidding. We ragged on Manny, but when we did the Brett Bet episode, he ended up being much more correct than we remembered.
Yeah, but he fell down in the dumps at the end.
God.
Oh my god.
I mean, the score's live. It's on YouTube, so you can see it.
That's true. All right, so I did want to talk about the whole Gavilar and
Yeah,
Navani
Navani.
thing.
So that's actually a great point
Sure.
because Navani, being one of the main characters in book one, let's focus some time on her.
Yeah.
What?
So this very like kind of opening scene, this opening kind of exchange between Navani and Gavilar really kind of made me feel like it's setting the tone for the remainder of the book. I feel like we're going to get a lot of new insight into people that we thought were one way that are actually another way. I think we're going to get a lot of kind of reversals in characters in this book. I have a feeling that, like, as you said, a lot of the characters that we've grown to love, I have a feeling that they are not only going to potentially, either at the end of this book or the end of book 5, not only not be whole, but potentially not be the characters we know.
Yeah.
Potentially be completely different people. Yeah, I think there's a lot of evidence to kind of start pointing that way. And I thought it was really interesting in this scene to just take this like Dalinar, I guess maybe compared to who he was, but Dalinar was like this war-hungry, killing-hungry person, and he really looked up to Gavilar, and his memories of his brother are like really kind of fun. It's like, man, he was living so honorably, but the picture of him that we get through these flashbacks with Navani are very, very different. And I don't know if that's because we're getting it from her point of view, and she was like injecting these kind of like malicious things because they had a stretched relationship or what. But yeah, I think we're gonna get a lot of reversals in
Yeah,
this.
it seemed like she thought he wore a mask with everyone else.
With everybody else, yeah.
Like he tried to be that perfect person, but like away he was just scheming to become immortal, and no matter what it takes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like it totally got me off guard that there was this rumor that Navani.
Yeah, Navani was
Navani slept
sleeping.
with someone, or cheated on
Yeah.
his husband.
And in her mind, we hear that she didn't,
And-
so I tend to believe that she didn't,
Yeah.
you know, because
Like-
it's not like she's saying it to him.
But like,
And I'm thinking that was with
Dalinar.
With Dalinar. 'Cause that's kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
implied, right?
And she
that's what the
she
rumor
spread
was
it to
about.
kind of like a little dagger because she had said stuff around certain queens and kings to kind of allude to it, which she's like,
I don't know if that's the
Yeah.
case.
And she said
I
that
think she
made a
just said
mistake,
stuff,
like she
but
realized.
not to like put a dagger in it. I don't
Yeah.
think she was doing it maliciously.
I think she said she was like it wasn't.
Yeah,
I
it was
don't
just a
think
mistake.
that either. I think she was just like mouthing off, or like not mouthing off. That's a bad term, but
I think she was trying to pull some attention back to
Yeah.
herself.
I don't know if that's the
because-
case either, because I think
also-
she even says that she regrets saying what she did because it wasn't in an attempt to hurt him.
Oh yeah,
Does
that's
she?
a good point. She did say that, and but the
Okay.
thing is like I think it's very clear though. Do you guys disagree? I'm gonna say some other things after we get through this, but it seems very clear to me, and we know from Dalinar and Oathbringer, before he married his wife, he was in love with Navani, and Navani went with Gavilar. And from this perspective, Navani, we get a sense that Navani clearly liked, Dalinar, even though she chose Gavilar for whatever reason.
And if Gavilar's to be trusted, it's just because she liked the power. She liked the idea of the power that came with being with Gavilar because he would be a more successful brother.
Who said
Yeah,
that?
she said
though?
that was
Gavilar
partly
said that.
why.
I said if
but she was
Gavilar's
also
to be
scared
trusted.
of
That
how
was his
Dalinar-
impersonation of the
Yeah.
exchange.
Okay.
Well, the one. Sorry, this is going back a little bit, but the she says, but the things she'd said had started rumors difficult to smother. So I think she did say stuff to start rumors about her and
Or
Dalinar.
no, she might. I interpret that as she accidentally said something, probably too endearing or too much, and then rumors, especially the Alethi way, nothing's to your face, everything's like, sidewinding. Before you know it, rumors have like circulated that maybe there is something, which there.
Right, and there was a line that Gavilar said where to an Alethi court, a lie is as good as the truth.
Yeah.
Specifically, so or like a well-placed rumor
Yeah.
was as
Well,
good
it was
as the
also
truth.
to drive
Something
home
like
that his whole thing was his legacy. Like he cared so much about what everyone else was thinking of him.
But can I at least say this? Like, there's something interesting about Gavilar. First off, we have a new insight into Gavilar in this book, but it's still not from Gavilar. We have Dalinar's insight to Gavilar. We have Elokar's insight to Gavilar to some extent. We have now Navani's insight to Gavilar. And actually, we have Sadius and Shallan's
bit from
insight.
Zeth's on some
and
Villano,
Sensei
too.
Villano's insight to Gavilar. To be honest, I still can't not think that there was the beginning of a bond forming between the Stormfather and Gavilar. Still, despite what he was maybe or maybe not doing.
No. He's a dick.
And listen to this too. The other thing is I don't know, Manny, and I'm not sure, but it seems like he started to go by the codes and do all this other stuff. But the other thing is, from Shallan's perspective, we also find out that he wasn't just leading the Sons of Honor, he was using them, point blank using the Sons of Honor. They end up being way more lowly than we thought. He was legitimately just using them for some other higher purpose. Mm-hmm. And so I almost wonder that Gavilar was on this other, somewhere else. And probably Navani was getting really, really pissed because, to be honest, he was so far over here doing something that nobody else knew, including the Sons of Honor, by the way. He was just using them. I think that we have a lot of revelations to find out what Gavilar was really doing before I could jump on to he was an asshole. Yeah. I'm not there yet. He was an asshole. I mean, he was an asshole, but I mean, he might not have been a bad guy.
Well, it also feels like he has more, because he makes a comment in there about this is like bigger than us or this war, or he says even this world. So it feels like he's breaching into Cosmere stuff, maybe even more so than just this.
What if he was
war?
What would have Wit said to him? Remember when Wit said to Dalinar, like it was in The Way of Kings, book 1, and somebody like scoffed, and he's like, "Oh, you just scoffed at like the most powerful man in all of Roshar," because Wit had a sense that the Stormfather was brewing this bond. I wonder what would have Wit said with what Gavilar was doing. Maybe they were not enemies. I don't know.
It seems like Gavilar was in this for his self-interest and had no positive outlook for the world. He didn't care about bringing back the Voidbringers and the Heralds. Like, all people would die. Like, there was no problem that needed them back.
It certainly seems that way.
And before,
that's how he projects it. I agree with Ben.
In the other books, because Gavilar was saying, "Oh, he's acting strange at the end of his life. He saw in the codes." So it's just like Dalinar was, but it looks like he was acting strange because he was just obsessed with becoming immortal and gaining this power for himself.
Maybe.
And he had that mask on, so that's what people were seeing. And when they say he was acting strange, it was about that, not about how I previously thought that he might have been seeing the visions.
Yeah.
Do you think there was more to the relationship between Gavilar and Sadius than we thought, too? Because certainly Sadius's wife had a deep understanding of the Sons of Honor, the Ghost Bloods, and even more. And actually, Sadius, even in book 1, mentioned his wife was maybe one of the most impressive spy masters that you could kind of imagine. One of the reasons that he married her, despite that he was like, she wasn't super beautiful. And Sadius also, we got a little bit of him in book 1, and he was definitely a dick, but we don't know his total motivation except that he did love conquering. We know that because that was in his point of view chapter.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, could there have been more there? I don't know.
Maybe
I think he and his wife both like power.
Yeah.
But he seemed completely okay
I think this would be a good segue as well into talking about Shallan, because she starts uncovering. She really busts the inner ring of the Sons of Honor in
no joke.
Urithiru. And then later on in the story, we get a lot more from the Mores,
Mraz.
Ghost Bloods,
dude. I
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
I don't know
The
what
Ghost
to think.
Blood. So we learn a lot more about both of those groups in this first part. And it's kind of, they almost make it a little bit laughable that the Sons of Honor are
Pathetic.
like, Shallan is pulling this fast one on them, and she's just disrespecting them the whole time. And they kind of deserve it because they really have an inflated ego of how powerful they are. Whereas, later in this first part, Shallan is dealing with Mores. He's kind of infiltrated her own household.
Yeah.
And it's, they're really trying to get a lot of truths out of each other. And you really wonder how influential the Ghost Bloods are that they claim to have someone close to Dalinar,
I have a feeling
So,
we're going to
Brett,
find out
I think
soon,
that
though,
could
right?
be a
Brett
good
bet.
segue into Shallan.
Brett bet. All right, here's my Brett bet. One of them. I'll probably have many. Is it true that they have one of the Light Weavers, the Ghost Bloods, have one of the Light Weavers outside of Shallan? Because that's what they implied. They implied that
There's
they're
someone
not
watching.
interested
What is
in
the Brett
Adolin's
bet?
soldiers.
What is the Brett bet?
Is it true
Do
that
the Ghost Bloods have a double agent in Shallan's Lightweaver
Group.
squires?
Yeah, squires. Are some of them full light weavers?
Only the one is. Two of them are.
Wait, would
Two-
it-
One of them is the original leader that she picked up, and then the other one was the girl.
Are
the
there
super spy.
Are
girl.
there
there are
people that could
squires, too.
potentially work that aren't light weavers though? Are there people in that?
It would have been
crew?
Adolin's
Adolin's guard
group.
but she had them sent away, and then
And every single guard's a light weaver.
Yeah, and then the Ghost Bloods indicated that they are not interested in them. And so the Brett bet is, do
Right.
you think, because he could be lying. It could be one of Adolin's soldiers. He could have totally lied to us. We can't say that he wasn't.
Yeah.
The Brett bet is one of Shallan's Lightweavers, either Squire or Subradiance, the mole, who killed Sadius's wife.
Is it just Amo, or who
That's a
killed
good
Sadius'
one,
wife?
man.
What's that?
Are you saying was one of them just Amo, or and they killed Sadius' wife?
The one who killed Iole.
I want to make
Sadius's
this
wife.
one a double. The mole and the bonus
Double.
is killed Sadius, because somebody killed Sadius's wife, and it
Yeah,
wasn't
and I
Shallan.
think
we know that.
we kind of know that it was one of her light weavers. Like that's kind of told. But
Well,
I
it's
think
implied.
what we
It's
don't
implied
know
by the
is
Ghost
who is
Bloods.
the mole that's close to Dalinar. That's a different person.
That is a different person. These are two different people. And actually, maybe two different Brett bets. But I don't know that we have enough information to guess who the mole close to Dalinar could be. At least I don't think
I have a
do.
theory about that.
Oh,
I have a
let me
theory
just
about
say-
that one,
I'll
too.
let him do that. My
okay.
Brett bet is about the Lightweaver is the mole that killed Sadius's wife and reporting to the Ghost Bloods.
One of her Light
One of her
Weavers.
Lightweavers.
All right, say your exact Brett bets. That's
Help me out, guys. You know what I'm saying. So,
Is the mole
Yeah.
a light weaver?
Is the
and
mole
killed-
Basically, Demon's
that
just saying.
assassinated. Oh, go ahead,
It-
Captain.
Basically, yeah. Is the mole that was hired by Mores of the Ghost Bloods? Did she assassinate Iole, Sadius' wife?
And then, so the thing is she a Lightweaver or was she part of Adolin's posse? And so you kind of could say
Half.
the mole
Is the mole the
is
Ghost Bloods
a
have?
Lightweaver or
One
not.
of
So it's
Shallan's
how
Lightweavers.
much do we trust the Lightweavers right now? That's kind of where I'm getting at. I mean, excuse me. How much do we trust
the Ghost Blood.
the Ghost Bloods telling Shallan that
That
her-
it is one of
Okay.
those.
So
He implied it
is
was
the mole that the Ghost Bloods have one of Shallan's light weavers?
Yes, and this
And then
to be
a
clear,
second Brett bet is, and did they kill?
I think it's the same.
It's the same, so it's
We
just
could
one.
leave it, yeah.
Okay.
And
Sadius'
we'll
wife.
separate this from the mole that's reporting on Dalinar,
Mm-hmm.
though, because this is a different mole. This is a mole that
Yeah.
that Sons of Honor or that Sadius's wife had near Dalinar, not the Ghost Bloods.
No, she
The
didn't
Ghost
have
Bloods
one.
said-
She intercepted information from
Yeah,
the
I don't
mole.
think she had one.
intercepted.
The Ghost Bloods.
Right.
But that seems to me like they were
Right.
manipulating information potentially. But we'll We'll get to that.
We'll get there. Yeah. We've learned not to give away too much information before the Brett bits.
Yes.
All
I
right,
have my...
Josh, go first.
No, why do I have to go first?
Okay, Manny, go first.
Okay. Yes, I think that the mold that killed Sadius' wife is one of Shallan's Lightweavers.
Weren't there only 2 there at the time?
I don't remember how many there
The
were.
one-eyed guy, Gaz, was there, and the one that was because he's just a squire,
He's
I
a
think.
squire.
And then the Lightweaver. Do the squires count?
Yeah.
Yes, Squires count.
Okay. So squires are
That's part of
Lightweavers.
her posse.
Yeah. So I think
Josh says yes.
No, I didn't say yeah. Who is it? Manny was still finishing his. I was answering the question.
No, he said yes.
Oh, he did. Okay. Should I go then?
Yes.
I have a few theories on some of this. I actually am gonna say no, but I'm hesitant to say why this early.
Okay, come back to it then.
Oh, come back to it. Okay.
Yeah. Josh, we have to come back to Josh.
But won't say why. Like a bitch. Like a true
I'll come out of the
Gavilar.
gate swinging, and I'll just say yes. I think that it likely is somebody on Shallan's crew. Maurice did mention that he didn't, like you said, Demon. He mentioned that he didn't have any interest in Adolin because Adolin's group, they just follow orders. It would be useless for him to get somebody in there because they wouldn't have much power anyway. So I'm thinking that likely it is someone aligned with.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also gonna say yes. I disagree with Manny
Okay.
and Andrew.
I'm going to say no. The reason is I think that Moraes is a lying sack of shit. And I think he
Dang.
manipulates information deeply. I think he's a professional manipulator of information and wants to manipulate Shallan, whose memories are whacked out of all hell. And I also do not buy that somebody in Adolin's most trusted guard would not be a beneficial spy for the Ghost Bloods. I don't buy it. He's too.
You're just
it's
obsessed
too-
with Adolin. Like, get over it.
So
Jetson,
I'm going.
no.
I'm going against Captain, even though I think it's a long shot because it's probably a long shot.
I don't think Maurice was bluffing on that one. I think he was being honest as much as he is capable of.
Although Pattern didn't say this. Normally, when Moraes says something, Pattern's like, "There's lies in there."
Lies.
He didn't say that.
But was
during
Pattern
this.
with her at that point?
Yes,
He was. Because there's been a couple chapters now where Pattern wasn't with her, and she's been
he
like,
saw the pattern on
Okay.
her
Yeah, on her dress.
shirt.
I didn't even know that they ever separated, and there was like a point where she was like, "Oh, if Pattern was here, he would love that lie." And I was just like, "Oh, I didn't even know he
Right,
ever
she
left
sent
you."
him off, yeah.
Okay.
So I think mine's a long shot, Captain, just so you know. But I've got to go with it because something's fishy about Moraes. It's too easy. Too easy. I'll give you everything. But the other thing that makes me a little happy is because he has a Bobsk as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's-
Brett, what's your bet?
waiting for it.
I'm gonna go with. I might as well just go with to keep it even. No, because I really don't know. I have a feeling it's probably yes, but
So I have some cool theories around.
Let's
this
hear
whole
it
thing.
now. We are all in
So,
stone. So.
these better be good because I just went no based off of these cool theories.
Yeah. That you haven't heard yet. So one of the things that I first thought of when he says we have someone close, I am thinking that there is gonna be, because he obviously seems to know a lot about Shallan's past and Shallan's family.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that we're gonna find out that there was a fracture or
She has a fourth personality.
way back that is like even more deep rooted in all this, and that Shallan is
Did kill her.
actually the informant for Dalinar because she's in the inner circle. She's also the one because she questions, did
That's
I
so
do it?
believable.
What happened? That she has a personality that is 100% aligned with the Ghost Bloods, and that personality can secretly or like do things, and she's the one who poisoned Sadius's wife and killed her.
Yele.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's a good one.
I like it. I'm glad I went no. I like it. It was cool. It was good enough.
I think.
I mean, this is the type of fucking Hail Mary that I just get off on.
But that would mean yes, though, that he does have a spy inside Shallan's.
No, because that's not a spy. And that is Shallan
Okay,
herself.
wait,
It's not
wait,
one of
wait. Yeah.
Shallan's like.
Good,
Oh,
good
good. I
question.
went yes though. Nice.
No. Good question was
Oh, wait,
is
no, that's the wrong one.
Shallan's personality doesn't count. Shallan's personality would be Shallan herself, not
Yeah.
her. Like
I don't think it's one of her light
crew.
weavers. I think it's Shallan herself.
You said Shallan's posse, so she's part of the posse.
Yeah.
Oh well, then I would. Yeah. Well then, yeah.
This is kind of true.
Well, by his definition, it would be. It's an obvious. He meant the other.
You know what? I want to be Manny's veil.
Well,
What the fuck?
Wait, so how are we doing this? If they think that
Manny?
that is a yes, do you guys honestly trying to say that you think that is a yes, would be a yes for Jeff's theory?
I mean, we have to keep it
Or
a
Brett
no
Beck.
just so that it's interesting.
No, we got to keep.
Otherwise,
it.
we're all gonna be
fine.
yes.
We're fine.
Okay, we'll keep it in. Shallan's personalities don't count.
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
funny.
Do we want to do a Brett bet on who we think the other mole
Oh,
is?
yes,
Who's close to Dalinar?
yes,
Because
do
I
it,
have a
Andrew.
theory
Okay,
about
okay.
that.
Well, I just said mine. I say it's
No,
gonna
no,
be
no.
Shallan.
Oh, well, you know yours, yeah. But I like this, Captain. This is great. So, the next Brett bet, we have a lot of Brett bets, so wait, is going to be who
We
is
do.
the mole
So,
closest to
next
Dalinar?
Brett bet, who is the mole that is close to Dalinar?
I love your Lovecraft shirt.
And I'm thinking this is kind of a little bit more of a long shot theory. However, just looking at it from a story element, there was a new character who is kind of suspiciously getting a lot of attention in this section.
Mink?
And it kind of threw off some red flags for me. And I'm actually thinking, I don't know if you think it's the same one, Maddie, but I'm thinking that it's the mink.
Andrew
don't
hates
like
Cardassians.
It is the
First
Cardassian
Lopin,
general
and now the mink.
who joined him. I don't trust those.
Yeah,
Cardassians.
seriously, what is up with you and Herdazians?
He's getting a lot of attention right now, and he obviously has direct, conversations with Dalinar. I'm thinking that he's the new mole.
But
was
what about the
recently put
fact
in.
that he wasn't?
It's
there?
him and Lopin are doing it together.
Lopin's gonna betray Bridge 4.
Lopin is the mole.
I mean, it's interesting, but I don't even think the mink was back.
He wasn't back yet. I don't think so. Right? Was the mink back, Captain? The mink wasn't back yet, right? He wasn't there yet to. converse-
No,
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 I
he
don't think
just
that the mink
joined
was back there, but that's his
That's
guess.
his Brett bet.
Right.
That's my theory. That's my theory.
I thought you were gonna say the same person
So
that I was gonna
are
say,
all
Andrew.
of the rest of us a good no then?
No, he's just we need a person. Each person.
We all get to put a person
Oh,
Yeah,
he
so we
says
could all
a
potentially be
mink.
drinking.
Mink. Damn.
in. Dude, I love
I thought that was
Andrew's,
gonna be easy.
Andrew and his hate of
Herdazians,
Herdazians.
Yeah. Josh, you could say
It's
is
not
definitely
hate, it's just
Shallan.
mistrust.
Shard of Shallan. Shallan.
Shalon
it.
Shark.
Shallan. Persona.
So Josh says that Shallan's shadow persona.
Yeah. Or something
Okay.
akin to it's Shallan. Yeah.
Who are you gonna say, Manny?
I don't know the person's name, but the person that I think is getting a lot more attention in this book, that I think is someone that could be really close, would be Navani's assistant.
Head scribe. Yeah. Yeah. Her head's assistant. I was going to
Yes.
say the same thing, Manny.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's
What's
the
his
that's the girl
name?
that's getting a lot of
Her?
attention, and
Her?
there's like a little statement that's made that she gets distracted easily, or like
Yeah.
she's all
Yeah.
about like scholarship and stuff.
And
And I think
Navani
that she's
even
just-
gave her,
She's just deceitful.
Gavilar's sphere that Zeth hid
Yeah.
in the cave. He even gave her that.
Oh,
sphere.
her, that one.
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
with you, Manny.
That's what I was
100%.
thinking.
Good
too.
one, Manny. That's a good one.
100% in there.
That's a good one.
She's not who we think she is.
What's her name?
Yeah,
I'm looking that up, Brett.
I forgot.
Rushu.
By the way,
Oh,
yeah,
Rushu!
she's in the other
Yeah,
books. By the
Rushu.
way,
Yeah.
she is in the other books.
Rushu.
She makes cameo appearances in the other books. as well.
Manny and Jeff are Rushu.
Yeah, I'm Rushu. I was gonna say that exact
Benjamin?
person.
I'm actually gonna agree with Josh.
Shallan, shadow
There's
personality.
been some hints that there's other stuff happening in the.
Dude,
I'm going with Shallan as well.
I'm gonna love.
I really liked that theory a lot.
I'm
And
gonna.
you know me,
That's
I love-
right.
I love
My
a
mind
good-
will be blown.
Yeah.
I am gonna love when the
Love a
mink
good Hail
betrays
Mary.
us all, and then
Yeah,
Andrew's
Andrew's
gonna
the
be
only
like,
one right. I knew it.
I can't wait to
I
say
told you not to trust her, Daz.
I can't wait to say yeah, right.
"Cheers, this is a good bread bet."
And then he's gonna go back to hating Lopin again too. Then I told ya. Yeah, trustworthy people don't just grow arms.
Thank you, director. Thank you.
I understand you, my friend.
Yeah. So that was actually, those are some really deep, good Brett bets for this part one. So
I have a real Hail Mary one, but it doesn't apply yet.
well,
Can't
we'll
wait.
get there because we haven't even talked. We haven't talked about Kaladin. We haven't talked about so many characters.
I
yet.
know.
But just thinking of Navani, there was one scene. I want to jump to towards the end of Navani. We're just focusing on Navani Gavilar.
Oh,
kinda
yeah.
Situations. I found it really interesting to see Navani's watching Dalinar complaining about how she asked the Windrunners why they don't fly in the wind backwards. They're like,
weird.
That's weird. Yeah, we all like to see where we're going. And
Should we sign it? No, that's weird.
Dalinar has goggles. He's wearing goggles, and she loved how stubborn he was and stuff. I thought it was a very endearing moment, and we get a little insight into Navani, and I wonder if, and I'm not even going to go to the conversation she had with Zeth yet because that's next on the list. But the one thing that I thought they brushed over so neatly was this little hidden span reed. A hidden span reed stone on the end of her travel compartment, which said, "Stop what you're doing.
Yes!
Stop imprisoning Spren."
I do want to talk about this because
And what?
this was gonna be my Brett bet.
Okay.
Let me. Yeah. Sorry, Brett. I literally saw. So for those of you who guys are audiobooking and not reading, they do pictures in the
Yeah.
book from Shallan's drawings. And
It's, the way you said it just sounded so condescending.
Yeah.
They do pictures.
there's an actual drawing in here that's close to the beginning of the actual part, and you get to actually see a Spren getting caught in one of the
Which Navani talks about in
The
all of her
Fabrials.
chapter.
Fabrials.
But the picture they draw of the Spren looks so upset and sad when it's caught. And my Brett bet was gonna be, we're gonna find out that these lesser Spren getting imprisoned is actually a bad thing.
Well,
And-
however, Navani has talked to the conscious.
That's what's
Spren.
weird. Yeah,
This is the thing, though.
they
Hold on.
actually address
She
it
asked-
because of this.
Here's my view on that, is that as there is ignorance in our realm, there is ignorance in their realm as well. And just like we thought shard blades
Yeah.
were not living things, they also are incorrectly potentially thinking
So
that they are
even the
less
conscious
conscious,
Spren are
less
wrong?
Yes, potentially.
or
there
they're
might
just-
be prejudice, or there might be ignorance within their realm as well.
I've
And
been
also
not-
be like, we treat dogs better than we would treat an insect on the ground.
You
But,
would treat a dog better than an insect?
but technically, some people would say they're both, not that they're both
They're
the
both
same, but
living
they're
creatures.
living
Yeah,
creatures.
yeah.
So
I have a
they
new
could
theory.
be the same thing.
This just came from this conversation alone, so you guys tell me this. So remember how when you go into the cognitive realm, you see the Spren, like the full Spren, and then you go out into the physical realm and you see just an antenna of the Spren. What if you go into the spiritual realm and you see a fire Spren in the spiritual realm elongated into something so much deeper and so much different in the spiritual realm? So, depending on what realm you are, for example, just the antenna of the Anger Spren is in the physical realm, then the Anger Spren are crazy in the cognitive realm. But if you go into the spiritual realm, they're full-blown cognitive
But don't some of
dragons.
the Spren go to the spiritual realm? Is that
Well,
a
that
connection
could be
they
the
do?
difference.
Yeah.
I don't
The ones
know,
that
I
have
don't
been to
know.
the spiritual realm maybe have a deeper
don't know.
understanding of these supposedly lesser.
I literally came up with
Spren.
this very moment.
Yeah.
I have not thought
But-
about it very deeply.
But I feel that the
Yeah.
conversation, the span read that she gets is almost like, okay, there's definitely going to be something about using Spren against their will for Fabrios is maybe...
Well, who's writing that though? They could be totally insane.
They could be.
They could be, but I've got a
as I
feeling-
said in the beginning, I have a feeling that first scene with Navani and Gavilar is going to set up a lot of reversals for us.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's a potential that by the end of this book, we are not so convinced that the Spren of Honor are necessarily
Honorable.
honorable or the good guys as clear cut. I don't think that they're necessarily going to be turning out to be the bad guys, but I think there's a lot of hints to show that this is much more complex than we think. I mean, you're starting to there's scenes in this book where you start actually understanding a little bit more, even the what are they called, the of Odium, the guys that awaken,
The fused.
the fused
Singers
you're hearing conversations between them where they're not being evil. They're like, well, we shouldn't just demolish them. They shouldn't. I mean, even the fight with that one fused where they have their duel and they point their tips
honor,
down and they have their honor. You know, it's like they're much more. They're not just pure hatred like we kind of like thought for a while, you know. So I think there's going to be a lot of reversals where we start, and I actually this goes into a little bit. So I have a Hail Mary, and then I have a super Hail Mary based off of that same one, and it goes into that a little bit where I have a feeling that potentially, and this will just be a teaser to my Brett bet, potentially at some point during this book, we're going to see the Odium side and the Honor side team up against something greater.
Really?
Potentially.
Yeah.
That's a huge Hail Mary. I don't really believe that. I think it's unlikely, but
Yeah.
and I think I know who it is too.
There's one thing I want to say with that message Navani got. Assuming that person was not just a crazy person and
Which it could be.
loves
Yeah.
Ben, that this,
Yeah, it's like the Spren equivalent of a vegan.
yeah. But like this practice, this practice of capturing Ben,
Sprita.
like unbalances the world, and that's what led to the human world being destroyed.
Hence the recurrence.
Becoming too like reliant on like technology.
Yeah,
almost.
like they captured all this Ben and then it destroyed the world, and then they had to invade Rosha, more or less.
I still feel like what destroyed the surge binding that destroyed the previous world had something more to do with Odium, though. My opinion, just mine.
Yeah.
But I like that concept a lot, Ben, because I think there might be something deeper, more implied in the capturing of Spren.
It's really
technology.
that whole section is so tiny. Like it's literally just like the end, like the last 2 pages of a chapter.
No, she just like
and then it's
brush
like,
that dirt off your shoulders.
there's maybe like
moves
one or two
on.
being like, I tried reaching back out and nothing. We know that's gonna become something big.
Something.
It's gonna
we
be
know.
something big.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that we're gonna start leading down the path that even that like, oh, I've talked to other high spren and they're fine with it, or they're like, oh, they don't even have like an emotion. They may not like enjoy it, but they're just like animals. And they almost, the way the high spren seem to talk about it from Navani's,
cattle, horses.
It's just like
pigs,
they may not enjoy it, but they don't think and they don't have the same emotions we do, so it's like nothing to them.
So could they be wrong?
But that's exactly what
exactly.
the Alethi thought of Parshman or Parshendi.
Yeah.
And I know we're not going
Which
there
one?
yet,
Right.
but
Parshman? Parshman.
yeah, the Parshman. But like the other thing
So
is,
I think there
is
could be
like,
ignorance on their side where we keep thinking that they have this like higher understanding of everything.
right.
I think there's a lot of stuff that shows that they're capable of being human, also of having a lot of flaws. You know.
Right. There's a lot of division because even when the singers and the Nine were talking, they made reference to
Why's
Manny
Benny-
loves it.
the
why's Benny love it?
the Spren
cut
in
off.
Shadesmar.
I don't mind.
That some of the Spren in Shadesmar wanted to give the Parshmen like a second chance, whereas other ones wanted to give the humans a second chance. So there you can see right there that there's a division in the Spren.
That's what I was gonna say right there. Is
I'm
I
just
was
gonna
agreeing.
say like what I thought.
You did that on purpose. I know you did. I know you did. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I know you did. I know
anything
you
to
This is
did.
the point where you enlarge Manny's picture and be like, okay, Manny, give us your input.
Go ahead.
By the way,
This better be good.
You guys are digital now, so like when Andrew starts talking or you start talking, Manny, we have to kind of like stop to make sure that the lag doesn't get there. So you're gonna get used to that soon. Go ahead. Go ahead though. Go ahead.
No. I just wanted to interrupt you.
I know you did.
He called it. He called it.
I told him.
Like
but
I just witnessed it happen, and I just thought it was hilarious, and I'm like, I need to keep this going.
It's okay. It's
Sorry,
okay.
Demon.
With Captain though, he has to do that, and I told him that in the beginning.
Yeah, you never stop
You
talking.
never stop, Captain, because when you're digital, the lag's there, so
Yeah.
you just go. It will adapt.
Go ahead.
I was gonna agree with Captain. I loved it. I loved exactly what you said. It was almost identical to what I was gonna say because I was gonna talk about the will shapers. And the will shapers are the type of spren that are bonding Venli right now. And the spren that are bonding Venli are obsessed with freedom. And I don't know if you guys took that quiz, but I tested as a will shaper. So Venli's my girl.
Oh,
So Venli's my girl.
whoa.
And
Wait, what
Parchment.
quiz? I want to take it.
Yeah.
You got it. We should.
you got to follow the link that I never put into our episode. That
You didn't put it in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we didn't.
Fail.
Fail.
We said we did, but we'll put it in eventually. So,
We'll put it in on this one. On the Brendan Sanderson's
Google it. Just
website.
Google
so
it.
it's yeah.
So, actually,
So
Josh will put it.
so listen,
Never mind.
I tested as a will shaper, and Venli, she's my girl, and I loved how they started to like write this because I did that quiz before I read this book, and her spren is really like adamant about people being free and making their own choices. And
I'm on it.
so
I
what
love it.
Andrew is kind of hinting at there is a division on spren, and the will shaper spren, which happened to be the bronze spren, and we met one actually. We met the light spren. I'm sorry, the light spren. They were the ship captain in Shadesmar that Adolin, Shallan, Kaladin, and Azure rode on a ship. They met a ship. They tend to like to travel, to be like flying on boats, and he had his grandfather. I think his grandfather was one of the ancient spren that had bonded the humans, and he was teaching Adolin how to take care of his dead eyes.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you better bind that dead eyes up and keep it in a room because you'll be fishing it out of the spheres constantly because they always want to be near their,
Wander off or
whatever. And so I think that was the indicator that got that whole entire society, the entire Light Spren society said, you know what? We're done with humans. Let's give
Here's what I found.
let's give the listeners, not the singers, the listeners, a second chance. Because some of the other spren are giving humans a second chance. Let's give the listeners a second chance. Because back in the past, we were with the listeners before we were with.
the humans.
It's like politics in America. It's like, well, Republicans aren't that great. Let's go with Democrats. Democrats aren't that great. Let's go with Republicans.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
So
not that
it's
great.
not
Just
really
back and
like
forth.
that,
They're
right?
just gonna keep going back and forth, realizing both
One is
sides
usually
suck.
always better.
So anyway, let's.
Humans.
Point I'm making though is that there is a whole society of spren willing to try something a little different.
Well,
and
all
that
of the Skybreakers are all on Odium's side too.
they are, but
For now.
we know that Niall is on the other side, and he's of the fifth ideal, and he decided himself. And there were several of them that swore their third ideal to him, so they came over. But Zeth swore his third ideal to Dalinar. So there's probably some Skybreakers that will come back, I think, because they haven't sworn the third ideal yet, and they may find
Stay with
another.
humans.
They may find another,
Person to look up at
crutch.
that as law.
Yeah.
Also, potentially, I was thinking that because I feel like potentially, if there's ever a point where what's her name,
Which one?
the
Aziz?
one that you
Venli?
are, Venli, if Venli and Dalinar ever meet, and she like brought up we want to be our own people, Dalinar might just be like, yeah, I'll help you do that potentially. So I was like wondering if like there could be like
She's
a
looking
lot
for
of-
a way.
yeah. But I feel like we're kind of coming to the end of not our part one discussion, but part one of our part one discussion.
There's a few things, Navani, we gotta finish
Exactly.
beforehand.
There's a Brett bet that I have specifically relating to Navani's talking with Zeth,
Zeth.
that
Good,
I want to
because that's
talk
the
about.
next thing I was
Good.
gonna want to talk
Perfect.
about.
Perfect.
So that's ideal.
All right, go for it.
Oh no, I think we need to talk about this because that conversation was so deep for me. So we find out at the end of book 3 which was years ago,
1 year.
1 year
Yeah,
ago, we find out that Zeth has literally been in prison the entire time. He swore to Dalinar. He fought Odium, helped Lift, did everything right, swore to Dalinar, and then sat in a prison for an entire year. Literally. And that was a compromise between him and Navani. Navani deeply hates this man for a lot of reasons that are legit. For
She
sure.
wanted to execute him and throw his shard blade in the ocean.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is
If
it
I remember
legit?
correctly.
She there were times where she even said, like, she didn't want him dead, but there were times where she wanted Gavilar dead. Like, she didn't want him dead, but...
She pregnant Liv to have him
Yeah, I
killed.
feel like that was a standard frustrated wife thought.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But now she gets to be with her real love. She should be over.
Oh my
it
god.
now.
Oh my god, Brad, you need to cut it.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He did
so
her a
but the
favor,
thing is
guys.
that he's in prison with a shard blade, probably the most powerful shard blade ever.
Not even we don't. It's like a night blade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking blade.
And so he's choosing to be in this as long as he gets to bathe once a day and do some specific things.
Oh, really
but-
quick, can we just talk about the instincts of
Gets a lot of
Dalinar?
light.
Like the amazing instinct, like us knowing what we know about this blade, him saying, I feel like we're safer him being in there with the blade than
Yeah.
us being out here with the blade. Like, what amazing instincts. What would ever make him think that that's a good idea?
Yeah, I don't know. He knew. That was bondsmithing.
Yeah, he probably
Yeah.
saw the blade and was like, "There's something
The
funny."
Stormfather was like, I don't like that thing. Okay, so I don't know exactly. I
Let's
might
just
as well
kill
just.
some.
I might
They're
as
evil.
I might as well just say my Brett bet because it has to deal specifically with Zeth
Okay.
and that blade. So
By the way,
here,
we do have open Brett bets around Zeth in his. Remember, he had to make an oath to a higher ideal to make his third and take on a quest. His quest was to kill the Shin leaders.
the Shin leaders. Yeah.
That.
Oh, yeah.
And we debated about this in the third one, and as it so happens, we found it in part one. The Shin leaders are not allowing us to talk to them. They're shooting everybody down, shooting arrows at him, and defending everything. So,
Yeah.
what we said was, would Dalinar allow Zeth to go?
So far, no. We'll see. So here is my kind of Hail Mary Brett bet involving Zeth. Because when Navani was speaking to him, and he specifically said that she's like, well, what if Dalinar dies? Like, where is your new oath? Now, I'm more inclined to believe, I still agree with what Amalia said. I like the idea of Dalinar finally getting him to think for himself and not follow these kind of like whatever beliefs that he has to follow some
Fourth
owner
and
or
fifth
whatever.
ideal, though. That's fourth and fifth ideal.
So,
for
but
there,
here is my counter Brett bet that is just a Hail Mary. I don't think it's actually going to happen, but I think it's kind of fun. I present to you the possibility that Dalinar dies and that his new ideal, the new person that controls him, is the voice from the sword, and that he goes on a killing rampage.
That would be scary.
And that he...
that actually scares the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie.
Because this sword will just tell him to kill everything, and so far we have yet to come across like anybody that can really control him. The only time that he can be controlled is when he surrenders.
I love the idea. I'm gonna say no, but my
I think that's
thought
the
is,
smart choice.
My thought is around there's something deeper that he's gonna develop maybe with Lift. I really liked the
Yeah,
development
I really like that too.
that Lift in his character started to make in Oathbringer. And I honestly think there's going to be an amount of growth that he receives, not from Dalinar, but through Navani.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've paired them, Navani and Zeth, for a reason. And the reason is everybody else is going to be doing other shit, and Zeth and Navani are going to be protecting Irithiu.
Yes, this is true.
Who
And
is
so
they?
I think... Huh?
Who is they?
Oh,
Zeth
they?
and Navani.
No.
They?
So everybody else is going to be off gallivanting
No, I mean
around the
you're
world.
saying that they are putting Navani and Seth together, and I'm like, who is they?
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson.
I'm so
He's
sick
the
of you.
The author.
The author. I feel like they were setting them up to be this like it just feels so good.
Man, you respect the pronouns.
Yeah.
Manny, I'm making no assumptions here. I'm trying to be politically
We don't know
accurate.
how they identify.
Okay, here we go.
I know how Brandon Sanderson identifies.
So Zeth teams with
loving this.
Nightblood. That's its name, right?
Yeah.
Nightblood.
I don't think this is gonna happen either, but I have to say yes because it's my Brett bet. But I do like the idea of. I really like the idea of the sword that constantly talks to its owner and wants to kill things. Being the master of something that has to kill whatever his master says. so I'm gonna say yes, just as a Hail Mary. And here's the other one. This isn't an actual Brett bet, but this goes back to the Hail Mary that I was saying, that he's gonna be so unstoppable that he's gonna become the champion of Odium, and that's what causes the two sides to team up against Zeth.
Wow.
Wow.
That is a Hail Mary, son.
That's a Hail Mary if you caught the Hail Mary and then had to throw another Hail Mary.
The opposite direction.
Yeah, the opposite direction.
No, what it is the QB throws back the ball all the way to the other end zone.
And then they have
And then
to
the
throw
running
it.
back throws a Hail Mary to the lineman in the other end zone.
And then you win the lottery.
I'm gonna say no.
Josh, okay, no.
I'm saying no.
I'm gonna
and
say no.
I do think that Zeth and Navani are going to have to team up to say Urithiru.
Yeah, I think that.
Ben?
Also say no.
Dang it.
Ooh, Ben's a no. I didn't guess that one. Andrew?
Is that so? Are you saying yes then, Brian?
Yeah, so you're a no.
Okay. I'll join your side. So yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to do this to you.
You know what this really is?
That
When
week.
we get to the Brett Bet episodes, again after the end of this book, Andrew thinks that his score is going to be so high that he can
Okay.
sacrifice one right now.
Okay, can we just say that this is such a Hail Mary that if I'm right, you guys have to take like 3 shots?
That's fine. I would agree with
I'm
that.
down with
If
that.
you get that one right, I will
Nice.
take 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Manny?
Yeah, I said yes.
Yeah.
But no, to the Brett bet, I already said
I
no.
mean, usually our Brett bets end up just us being like drinking the whole time anyway. It's
All right.
just like, oh, I have to take 3 shots. Okay.
So listen, I think this is a great spot to stop part 1 of part one.
Part one.
And we will start part 2 of part 1 right after this. However, any other last thoughts, comments, or ideas around Navani, Zeth, anybody that, I mean, obviously we didn't talk Shallan deeply, we didn't talk Kaladin deeply.
Yeah, we'll get into
You know,
them.
we've got Dalinar deeply, Adolin deeply, but anyway,
I mean, Kaladin could be a whole episode.
Kaladin is.
I mean,
Yeah.
Navani was a whole episode.
well, there was a lot of
say-
intro
Yeah.
stuff.
That the one thing I wish we talked about was apparently Gavilar went to or visited Damnation because they said he went there.
Okay, we'll start the next
And
episode with
yes,
that because that deserves a
he
bit of a
made-
discussion.
We do have to talk a little bit about
he made a
Gavilar's
gemstone,
ability
like-
to make a jump.
An artificial diamond. I was assuming that gemstone
Was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he somehow discovered the process of making that.
All right.
that's
So
so
we're
good.
starting
I forgot about
next
that.
episode. We've got to talk about Gavilar being way more than we ever thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get on to Kaladin.
Yeah, which
Maybe.
brings me up to something I was gonna say that I didn't say, so I can now say it. All right, let's do
right.
it.
Cheers!
Cheers!